Hello everyone, welcome back to our 15-minute AMRAP episodes. Today we have a very special question. I'm sure everybody who's been to a CrossFit gym has noticed that there's no mirrors. And a question that we all already have is, how do I know if my technique is correct? I can see myself. I look at others, but I cannot understand how I'm moving if I don't have a mirror. So what do you think about that?
The coincidence is that today in my class somebody asked me exactly
Really?
something like that about the technique on the deadlift. Like, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to feel it or if I'm doing it correctly. And I said, coincidentally today we're going to make a podcast episode on that subject. And we don't have mirrors in the gym because we're trying to build body awareness. And body awareness comes after doing many reps, and eventually doing so many repetitions, you will start feeling good positions versus bad positions, good technique versus bad, good rep versus bad rep. It takes time. A lot of times, they say, I don't know if my technique is correct. When I look at others, it looks like they're doing it differently than me. The good thing is, I'm happy that when they say stuff like that, because it means at least they're caring about moving well and about technique, and they're actually actively thinking with me. Mm-hmm. Because with some other members, I have the feeling they're not actively thinking with me about their own technique, and they're relying too much on me to tell them what to do. So eventually we want members to cut to the point that they don't need us anymore. That they can feel good reps, and then of course they will still it will be still a good sign if they still ask me, like, can you have a look at my rep?
Do you remember back in the days, did you ever had this feeling of going to the gym and if there's not a mirror in which we can look at?
When we were doing bodybuilding cell training, I think we all looked at our positions. I think that's just because of the environment. It was standard to look a little bit, I don't know.
You need to see the pump.
Yeah, and if you're stretching your arms fully, on where are your elbows on the bicep curl, stuff like that. I'm sure we all did that, yeah.
But what I don't understand is when you do an Olympic lift, can you watch in the mirror?
No,
I don't think
can't.
it's too fast.
You can't. Maybe only with empty bar to feel certain positions. When you do them with pauses, you technically could. But the best angle would be from the side, and it's a bit weird to look in the mirror, do the move, and turn your head to the side. So that's why we just film ourselves, right? From a 45-degree angle, slightly forward to the side, and then in between reps, we will check our technique, and then on feeling, we will then try to make a change on the next reps. So this is a bit our mirror. You film yourself.
I thought that this was just for Instagram.
No,
Are you checking your form?
I'm
no
checking
way,
my
man.
form. If people think that I'm posting a lot online, you should know how many videos I have that I don't post, that are just there to check my technique.
Exactly.
So the thing is that it can be a bit confusing to look at others, and might not always be the best guide to say, am I doing it right or not? Because when you look around in the gym, you have people of different heights, different body proportions, different lengths of arms, different lengths of legs, different mobility levels also, training ages, maybe some with some history of injury. So some people might be moving differently for a reason. So in essence, the technique gets adapted to the person, not the person gets adapted to the technique, because of these things like body proportions, mobility issues, maybe injury issues. That's why you might, if you don't have the full story, you're looking around the gym, you might compare yourself with people you shouldn't be comparing yourself with. And they might be moving differently than you because there is a reason for it. Why are they squatting deeper than me? Why are their hips higher on the deadlift than mine? So why are we looking different? It not necessarily because you both are, one of the two is doing something wrong or bad technique. No, the technique is adjusted to the person at that point. For example, I'm 193. If you're gonna see me squat versus somebody that's 1 meter 70, I have long legs and upper body. I won't squat as deep as the shorter guy probably, and 100% sure my upper body angle will be much more forward because this is my body proportions. I need to adjust my technique according to the body that I have, and everybody has that. So keep that in mind. If as a beginner you start comparing yourself with other people. So technique is based on a couple of core principles: positions, control, and repeatability. What I mean with that, with positions is, are you hitting the positions for that particular move? Meaning, okay, we talk a lot about neutral spine. So is that in a deadlift or in a squat, is that that spine in a natural curve? Not overextended and especially not rounded, natural curve. Is your core stable, meaning you're tensing your muscles to the point that, for example, when I'm telling you to brace, it's pushing tension out? Are you bracing and keeping your core and spine stable in a deadlift so that especially the lower back, nothing is moving while you're doing the deadlift? So that's what I mean with are your positions solid? Like we need positions to be solid, and then it's already a good starting point of good technique. Do you hit the certain positions? Control. Do you have control while you're moving? So you're getting the bottom of the squat. Are you staying stable or are you collapsing? You're not rushing your reps. You're like following a certain tempo, like on a squat. As an example would be you going more controlled on the way down, and then you try to stand up as fast as you can. You're showing control in your reps. You're not just bouncing up and down or letting yourself drop in a squat. We call it dive bombing from the top, and you fully relax and drop yourself in the squat, and then you're going to get that collapse position, or you're going to get off balance. And also another thing, especially in CrossFit, with control also comes, you're not cheating your reps. So you're not doing half range of motion, squatting just till above 90, not standing fully up on your deadlifts, just to be able to do the metcon faster, like to show me control also during the metcon. Control is not only during strength. Control is everywhere. And then the last one, repeatability, that also says a lot about your technique. Can you do the rep over and over again looking good? Not just one rep looking good, second rep so-so, then again a good rep, then a couple of bad ones. Like, do you have enough control and to repeatedly do over and over, hit the positions and show control on the rep? As long as not every rep looks good and feels repeatable and feels controlled, you shouldn't be worried about weight or speed. You're still in the learning phase. As long as we cannot do over and over control repeatable reps, then we need to slow down and we need to still focus on what we're doing and learn the technique and learn the muscle memory first, and then the weights and the speed will come later. It's a thing that a lot of beginners struggle with because they see the people around them move faster, maybe more weights than them. It's a part that you need to accept, and it's also one of the reasons you came to a gym like this, that you want to be coached and you want to do the moves correctly, and that's a learning process. For some it's faster than for others, and it's something that some people have some problems accepting, that maybe for me doesn't go as fast, this learning process, as for others, but it's a part of the process. I often get people that get frustrated, not necessarily on me, but they like getting frustrated on themselves because they put so much expectation on themselves, like, if this guy can do it, why can't I do it? It's just empty bar. It's part of the process. It's usually not a strength issue, it's usually coordination issue. And coordination issue, to fix that, needs repetition and time. And for some it goes faster than others. It is just what it is. You can't be great at everything from the first hour. It's also not something that we expect. We don't expect you to, once I show you the move once, that you're going to do it perfectly. Not at all. I know, and I expect it to be a certain process. It's now for the other person to accept this also. That's sometimes the hard part. And there is not always time in class to explain this. So sometimes we need to take our time with these people to tell them separate that they don't need to get frustrated. They're not behind on anybody. They're at the right spot in the progression that I expect them to be. Those persons that they maybe compare themselves with, they took 3 months also, and you're in week 1, but it took them also 3 months to get there. You still have 12 weeks to go. You're just in week 1.
I have these 2 phrases also in my repertoire in telling people sometimes when I see them getting angry at themselves. First is the one that you just said about if you would do this perfectly after I told you just once, I would be really pissed, because it's been for me like 3 months or 4 months to learn this on my own. And the second one is, don't get frustrated. This is an Olympic sport for some of the movements. So just give it some respect, you know. It's too wanting too fast, you know. It's not a swipe and already the result is there.
Yeah, and you would think that they would empathize with that feeling, because they have it the other way around. They're pissed because they can't do it on the first day, and you would be offended that it took you 3 months and they do it on the first day.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of the like similar feelings. They should empathize with that.
But
part.
there are a few A-player athletes, let's say, and you show them once and they are like copy paste, like Indigo, and they do it, and you look at it and say, no way he just did it, because they have strength, they have the coordination, and after you tell them the points of performance, they just do it.
It's because they, it's like what I said in the beginning, like don't compare yourself with others, you don't know their history. They have so much body awareness of doing their own sport, whatever that may be. Maybe they did gymnastics, maybe they did MMA. They did a sport that helped them train movement patterns, and now this carries over to what we want to tell them, and it clicks for them. But if you're somebody that doesn't have from childhood, from 5-6 years old, you started moving, and all your life you did some kind of a sport, you're now developing movement patterns. Yeah. But they developed them as children. And of course, they look like super talented, but they have 20 years of movement and ahead of you. So they've been playing, they've been jumping, they've been doing stuff, and now this transfers. Okay, I tell them to extend on a snatch, and they just extend and they go under, and it is what it is. They have no mobility issues, there's no problems. Because it's usually the biggest frustration is usually on clean and snatch, and we tell them in advance this is a move that takes time. It's like I said, it's not a strength issue; it's a coordination issue, and to be able to do the snatch and the clean correctly on purpose, we divide them in the full move in a lot of mini parts, and just for you to get used to doing a small part of the move good before I add you another layer to the cake. But the people, they're looking around and they're seeing everybody around them doing the full move. They want to directly do the full move. But out of experience, we know that if I overload you with information on this complex move, it's already so many things to think about. If I'm going to let you do the full move, you're going to do multiple mistakes from the ground all the way till the catch position. And that's why we're breaking it up in small parts. Because in the end, I want you to do small wins. Every session that it gets a little bit better. That's just not what I'm searching for on that session, for you to be perfect. Just to improve something. And it's a mindset shift that needs to happen a little bit on the athlete's part as well. That don't give yourself such a hard time. Be ready to go on a road, and especially trust the process. We've been teaching this move to hundreds of people over the last decade. I know what it looks like when somebody's struggling, and we're playing around with certain drills to make you catch the move better. And it's in parts. When it's going well from the knee and you do a hang power snatch, if that's going well, then we can go and see, maybe you can do a hang full snatch. Maybe we can go to the floor and work a little bit on how to come correctly off the floor with pauses, then do a hang power snatch again after coming off the floor, pause at the knee. It's a process. And according to how the person progresses, we add layers on the cake until you can do the full move. And we're still not even talking about putting weight on. We're just empty bar.
Practice.
It's not a strength issue, because if it would be a strength issue, you wouldn't be able to muscle snatch it, and you all can muscle snatch it. It's not a strength issue. You need to learn how to bring the barbell in the right positions. And that's with technique in general. We need to learn you where to put the bar in the right positions. Then you need to be able to show me with empty bar repeatability till you almost don't have to think about it anymore. And most reps look pretty solid. And then we start loading it up, and then mistakes start popping up again. And of course, eventually you need to build strength. But we often get I need to have a little bit of weight on the bar to feel the move. If you cannot show control with light, empty bar, putting weight on the bar is not going to make you able to show more control. You can't show control because you do not know where to put the bar. You don't have the muscle memory to put your body in the positions that I want. So keep the empty bar. If you're a guy, it's not a downgrade to do 15 kilos. If it's needed, it's needed. Learn the movement patterns, and then we build from there. The next step, we go to 20 kilogram bar. If your technique breaks down again, we're going to repeat until you can show me positions. You cannot be fast if you do not know where to put the bar. You do not know how to apply the force that you have. But it's like a constant struggle with people to not take it so personal that you cannot do something. That's why you're here, to learn.
You're not a loser.
Yeah, some people give me the feeling that they're thinking like that they are indeed some kind of a loser, because it doesn't happen at the timeline that they want. It takes the time that it takes. For some, it goes faster than for others. Don't compare yourself with others. And that's it. And just insist. So the thing is that you're here not to teach yourself the move. The coach is here to help you out. If you're in a commercial gym, it's your responsibility to get the program and to make sure that you do the exercises correctly. It's your responsibility. But you're here in a group class, and we are here to make sure you're safe. And if we don't correct something, it means that we think that the way you move is appropriate for the level you're at, or the mistake that you're making is not a priority right now. It's not something I want to fix, because this is also a confusion especially when CrossFit athletes are a while in the gym and they know how to move. They somehow think that also means they know how to teach this. And then they start looking from the outside, and then they start looking at beginners that is working with a coach, and then they start saying, he's doing this wrong, and this wrong, and this wrong, and why isn't this coach correcting this? It's one thing to learn and to do the move. It's another thing to have the experience to triage mistakes and know how to teach this move. We can work on one thing for a class, and as long as the person is safe, that they won't injure themselves, they're allowed to make other mistakes. I'm working on mistake A, and I can ignore mistake B and C, although I see that it's happening. But the thing of coaching somebody is that you don't want to overwhelm them with information, and we want to practice a part of the move. If I'm going to tell them 3-4 cues of 3 different mistakes at the same time, it's not going to help. And we know this out of experience. So think about that when you're on the outside judging and thinking you see all the mistakes and the coach doesn't correct them. There might be a reason for that. The best thing that you can do is just teach. When you're on the Easter holiday with your family, just teach some of them an air squat. And then see how many things are going to go wrong all at the same time. And then see if you're going to try to correct everything at the same time, nothing is going to change. So just test it out. It's not as black and white as you might think from the outside. So to wrap it up, so instead of asking yourself, if my technique perfect, the better question would be like, am I moving safely and am I being able to move consistently at my current level? That's the thing that's going to matter the most at the moment. The goal is to get better at the move over time, not to be perfect on the moment. Most moves, we work on them in parts, and your deadlift doesn't get perfect on day one. Your deadlift gets better by every week or every 2 weeks when we do deadlift, and I give you cues. Over time, you get better and better. On every of those days, the main priority on the example of the deadlift would be I don't want to see you deadlifting with a rounded back because that's chance of injury. But if your back is flat and you have other mistakes, that maybe the bar isn't so close to your leg, maybe your hips are a little bit too high, these are also mistakes. Maybe your shoulder is a little bit inactive. But these are then mistakes we work on over time. So as long as you're safe, from week to week to week, we get you better and better, not by overwhelming you with 4 different mistakes to be fixed on the spot. So don't overthink. Ask your coach, can you check my next rep? Don't overthink it and think, don't directly assume you're doing something wrong. If he's not telling you, assume everything is fine. Don't copy other people blindly, because like I said, different body proportions, mobility, people are different. We adjust the technique to the person, not the other way around. And just focus on your body positions. Try to feel the move, create body awareness, and over time, by doing more reps, you're going to feel good reps versus bad reps, and eventually you're going to be able to repeat good positions. So just trust the process. We've been teaching how to move well for over 10 years now. We have a method, we have a timeline. Don't just think that you're behind on the timeline. If something is unclear, just ask questions, don't assume. Just trust the process, and technique will improve by exposing yourself often to the moves and doing many repetitions. So the goal for you is to search small improvements every training you do, and every time you see that move, to make small jumps. So if you're wondering, am I doing it right? Don't assume you're doing it wrong. Just ask the coach, can you look at my next rep? You're in the learning process. Technique is not about looking the same like somebody else. It's about moving well for you today and the next training and the next, and every training a little bit better. If there's something you do that really needs fixing, trust me, the coach will step in and tell you to stop, and he will start giving you drills and progressions and corrections. So until that happens, don't overthink it. Just move. If something looks really off, we'll tell you. The rest is details, and details will be fixed from training to training.
Exactly. Have patience and it will come. That's a good place to wrap it up. Thank you for listening. If you have a friend that you know he's very tough on himself and trying to do everything perfect from the start, send him this episode. And if you have any questions, like always, send us via email, Instagram, or any way of communication you prefer. Until next time, see you soon.